Good evening. Could you please silence your phones before we begin?
Tonight, we gather at the cross,
not as spectators, but as witnesses.
a hill called Calvary, and a man called Jesus.
A moment that changed everything.
Yet few could truly see it.
Voices surrounded him,
Words were spoken to him.
but what they saw was not what God was doing.
What do you see?
Pilate had a notice prepared and fastened it to the cross. It read, "Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews." Many of the Jews read this sign, for the place where Jesus was crucified was near the city, and the sign was written in Aramaic, Latin, and Greek. The chief priest of the Jews protested to Pilate, "Do not write the King of the Jews, but that this man claimed to be King of the Jews." Pilate answered, "What I have written, I have written."
Pontius Pilate and many others only saw the world and the cross of Jesus through the lens of political power. The saying is true that the longer we live, the more things stay the same. These people could only see Jesus as a failed military and political leader.
Their minds were distorted by power. They could not see the King.
Matthew 27 states, "Those who passed by hurled insults at him, shaking their heads and saying, 'You who are going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. Come down from the cross if you are the Son of God.'"
This group is described by Matthew as those who were passing by. They were casual observers who could not see what that God could bring redemption and salvation through suffering. They could only see the work of God through success and power.
Distorted by misunderstanding, they could not see redemption.
Luke 23, verse 36 says, "The Roman soldiers offered Jesus wine vinegar and said, 'If you are king of the Jews, save yourself.'"
These people were doing their job, fulfilling their daily basic responsibilities. They did not understand God's plan because they did not understand humanity's problems. They were just living out their daily routines.
Distorted by routine, they could not see salvation.
The Gospel of Matthew 27 says, "In the same way the chief priests also, along with the scribes and elders, were mocking him and saying, 'He saved others, he cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him come down from the cross, and we will believe in him. He trusts in God. Let God rescue him now, if he delights in him, for he said, I am the Son of God.'"
Here we have educated people who knew scriptures very well, but couldn't see God's plan because they were blinded by the present difficulties of their own lives. These lifelong students of the Bible could not see God working in their own world in their own lifetimes because they only saw what was wrong with the world they lived in. Their pride blinded them to God working in ways they didn't expect.
Distorted by pride, they could not see the Messiah.
Gospel, chapter 23, it reads, "One of the criminals who hung there hurled insults at him. 'Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us.'"
Here is a man in great agony and pain who simply wanted to escape the bind he was in just one more time. Since he was a child, This man had survived by running away, telling a quick lie, passing the blame. Here he hangs next to God's greatest act of redemption, and all he can do is look for a quick escape.
Distorted by desperation, he could not see grace.
Between two thieves, were you there when he hung between two thieves? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when he hung between two thieves?
Luke 23, 40 through 42. But the other criminal rebuked him. Don't you fear God, he said, since you are under the same sentence. We are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong. Then he said, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom.
The second crucified criminal simply said, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Here we see the only person who spoke from the perspective of true faith. He did not understand all that God was doing in those moments, but he understood that God was at work. He reached out to Jesus in faith.
Through faith, he saw what others could not.
When they pierced him in his side, were you there when they pierced him in his side? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they pierced him in his side?
Mark 15. When some of those standing near heard this, they said, "Listen, he's calling Elijah." Someone ran, filled a sponge with wine vinegar, put it on a staff, and offered it to Jesus to drink. "Now leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah comes to take him down," he said.
These people are described as those standing nearby. These people are coming from the perspective that God can only do things the way he has done them in the past. They were blind to God's creativity and innovation.
Distorted by expectation, they could not see the fulfillment. Jesus speaks 7 times from the cross. Let us focus on the last 2 statements that he made.
In John's Gospel, when Jesus had received the drink, he said, "It is finished." With that, he bowed his head and gave up his spirit.
Jesus spoke a word of victory and completion in the midst of all this suffering and chaos. Now, all that he had come to do had been done.
It is finished.
Not defeat, but victory.
Not the end, but completion.
What others could not see was the greatest victory of all.
Luke 23. Jesus called out with a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." And when he said this, he breathed his last.
Jesus spoke to his Father in these last moments. Jesus knew that his relationship with his Father was the most relevant and crucial reality to all his suffering.
Father,
into your hands
I commit my spirit.
Even here,
God was at work.
Many stood at the cross.
but only a few could see.
The question remains,
What do you see?
May we see through faith.
Tomb.
Amen.